A top WWE star has been removed from promotional material for an upcoming event, but there is a little bit of controversy surrounding this. We're going to talk about that more in detail. Also, WWE had a huge announcement, and we got to talk about a popular indie star who is not signing to the WWE. It's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. And don't forget, guys, if you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and click subscribe. Trust me, you don't want to miss a video on this channel. All right, let's kick things off with Matt Cardona. We talked a lot about Matt Cardona. There's been rumors for years that he would be coming back. He was actually speaking about this with Chris Van Vliet, and it appears that it's not happening. And the reason for it is because he's simply not been made an offer, which is interesting because Matt Cardona has done a very good job of leaving the WWE and going up and killing it on his own, right? Without the machine behind him, he's been able to be very successful on the indie scene. And really, this has become an interesting topic because of the fact that there's been rumors for years that he would be back in WWE. And then, of course, there was rumors that he would be signing to AEW, which never happened. So this is where things get a little chaotic, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, because it's not like WWE has a shortage of talent, right? Like there is no such thing as a shortage of talent. But guys who do end up losing their jobs in WWE, and then they leave the WWE and they go on to be very successful and they go on to be a draw, they typically get the opportunity to come back. So, of course, everybody would think naturally he would be back in WWE. Then it's interesting because you see him do stuff with TNA, you see him do stuff with AEW, but all those things that he does are typically handshake deals. There's no long-term commitment. So that means he also hasn't locked down with TNA long-term, and he hasn't done so with AEW. And he's gone publicly and said that AEW also hasn't offered him anything, which makes it so interesting to me as to why a free agent like this would not be signed. And I don't know what kind of message that sends to talent that do, work their ass off when they depart a major company, right? Because you go out there, and granted, yes, I get it. Matt Cardona is successful outside of WWE. At this point, I think there's a fair argument that we can make that he doesn't necessarily need the WWE. But I do think it is really fascinating, what kind of message, right? That message that's sent is that maybe you go and leave the WWE or AEW or whatever it may be, and you go work your ass off, and there is no guarantees that you can ever go back onto a television show, right? That's difficult. That's a difficult pill to swallow. Thankfully for Matt Cardona, he has found multiple avenues and multiple ways of being successful, which is great. But it is... and it's an interesting thing. Like I said, for years, we've literally been covering stories of rumors that WWE was going to bring him back, and it never happened. So, damn. That brings us to the WWE announcement, the Super Show Summer Tour in Mexico. It's officially happening. Now, of course, this is a very big topic for a variety of reasons because WWE is planning multiple shows. They are going to build a Super Show Mexico special event, at least according to sources. I want to talk about this report because honestly, this is one of those things where, genuinely speaking, we have been talking about WWE Mexico for a while and we still haven't seen it come to fruition. Let's break it down. Let's talk about the report. So WrestleVotes came out with a tweet today. We're told that WWE is planning to run multiple live events in Mexico in the near future, all centered around a featured Super Show Mexico event. The date and location are still being finalized. So this means, variety of house shows and a PLE? I think that's the only thing I could really guess. But it is a little bit different, right? And it kind of makes sense as to why WWE has delayed the Mexican shows, because going to Mexico with WWE on its own would be successful. But obviously with them acquiring AAA, I think you got to factor that in. Imagine WWE brings their brand to Mexico. They run a Super Show. Oh, and then by the way, talent of AAA are also featured on it. So the more that WWE gets them involved, the better it is for WWE long term, not only for them to lay their footprint in Mexico, but also to help grow AAA, which I think is a very important task for the WWE. You could say things about respecting traditional lucha libre, this and that, but CMLL is very successful in Mexico. So if you're trying to help grow the business and grow your global footprint, part of that would also be growing that specific brand, which I think would be very, very important for WWE. So then obviously you have to factor in Worlds Collide, right? They have Worlds Collide in California, same day as Money in the Bank. A week after that, you have Triple Mania, which is in Mexico. So is WWE going to plan their Super Show thing around the same time? And I think that's a very, very interesting tactic, a very interesting thing that could be potentially happening. I don't know what they plan on doing. When you go off of this report, it just seems like WWE's plans for Mexico have been incredibly big, but this is a huge reveal, man. Like the fact that this is coming out and WWE is ready for this. I'm excited about that. I'm glad that WWE is figuring it out. AEW is also going to Mexico, which is great. I think Lucha Libre is awesome. I think AEW and WWE both being out there and growing the business is cool. I want to see people from the main roster mix it up with talent from AAA. That would be a cool thing to do, and who knows, maybe if Rey Mysterio's back by then, you could do something really cool. Obviously WWE has the LWO, but again, it's just, I don't want it to be boring. I want them to go all in with this idea, if that makes sense. And that brings us to WWE Night of Champions. Now, this is a very interesting story for a variety of reasons. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about it. CM Punk has been removed from the promotional material for Night of Champions, which Night of Champions will be taking place later next month in Saudi Arabia. And instead of Seth Rollins being in the instead of Punk being in the promotional material, he's been replaced by Seth Rollins. Now, obviously, the card is subject to change. However, Mike Johnson of PW Insider noted that Punk will be working the event, which is very interesting because Punk was asked about this on social media, and fans had asked him, like, yo, why do you hate coming to Saudi Arabia? And he says, I don't hate coming to Saudi Arabia. Like, I've never been there, right? So a lot of people are confused because CM Punk obviously had previous comments, and I think that's what people are paying attention to. So there's always been this belief that CM Punk would not be working an event in Saudi Arabia. And because he's not in the promotional material anymore, a lot of people think he won't be working it entirely. However, because Mike Johnson of PW Insider says that Punk is working the event, that's why everybody is so confused about it. And I understand that's the thing about social media and all these things that are happening at once. A lot of moving pieces to the puzzle, a lot of things happening. Truth be told, I think it's a very, very weird situation that's ongoing. But if Punk is working the show, great. If he's not, it's not a big deal. At the end of the day, I think WWE is better at sometimes having top stars miss shows to make room for other talent is okay with me. I'm okay with that. So that's kind of how I look at it. I don't know what you guys think. You could obviously let me know down below. This is definitely something to pay attention to. If you guys want more videos like this, I'll keep you updated. So just make sure you click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time right here on The Ango Show.